You're recording. Boom. Okay, the time has finally come to get started on finishing the hoop house. Sounds a bit weird, but it's right. Final phase, just getting prepped, ready to start covering everything in plastic before winter sets in proper. First thing we got to do is fix these mountings that I put in. I used glue, but it would appear the glue I used is not waterproof, so they've come away. So I'm going to clamp them up and put some screws in to hold them in place. As you can see, the glue's let go, the two dowels that I used down the bottom there. So we're just going to screw it in, not screw it up. I think I'm going to need a bigger clamp. I'll be back. So the next thing we need to do in preparation for putting the plastic on is go around the whole structure and take off any sharp edges that could cause the plastic to rip or tear if the wind blows and moves it about. Same as this corner over here, that's got to come off. Okay, finally time to get stuck into the hoop house, get ready to cover it with plastic. I've taken some 25mm plastic electrical conduiting because I need two lengths that are 8.27 meters long, and I've been trying to figure out how to join them without having any lumps and bumps, because I'm going to wrap plastic around them for the side covers on the hoop house. So I figured I would cut a slot out of a piece of it so that I could then compress it, and that can go inside the pipes, and I can just glue them to make them long enough. I'll show you what I mean. So these are the pipes that need to be joined to give me 8.27 meters long. Plan in my head is a go. Works. Now I could glue these, but there's no point because the plastic's going to be wrapped around and glued using contact adhesive, so that'll keep it together perfectly. Hey, good idea. And there you have it. Two tubes joined seamlessly, 8.27 meters long. There's the joins over there. Perfect. It was now time to lay out the plastic in preparation for gluing it onto the tubing that I'd put together. I was mindful that it needed to be glued on pretty much straight and square, so when we rolled it up it didn't create crinkles, etc. So I spent quite a bit of time trying to get that right. Didn't do a good enough job as it turns out, because there are a few crinkles in there. Once the measurements were done, all we had to do was lay the plastic out and start masking it up. Okay, it's going to be difficult to see here, but I'm masking the plastic up so I can hit it with this spray adhesive that we can then wrap around the pipe. It's going to be difficult to see, and there goes the wind and screws everything up. This is not going to go well. You get it? Fuck! I thought you were helping.
Why did you tell me?
You were helping. Okay, it's because it's not straight. Okay. Let's roll it over once more. Hang on. Leave it like that. So we're just cutting out the plastic that we're going to cover the window frames and the door frame.
Can't fold sheets on your own, I see.
Don't give me sheet. It's all you ever do is give me sheet. So I've been stapling the plastic on the window frames for the hoop house. This is the third window. I've done the other two. I still have to do the door frame, but I screwed up with cutting plastic, so I'm going to have to wait to see if I've got enough offcut from the main covering to do the door. There's one of them finished with the wooden strips, just to stop the plastic from ever pulling loose. I have to still put the wooden strips on that one and trim the plastic. Okay, so the plastic's been stretched across the window frames. This is the last one that I'm doing. I've screwed the wooden strips on just to make sure that the plastic stays in place. I don't trust staples on their own, and I'm just going to cut off the excess plastic, and then that's it, done. Done. Good enough. So I've just set up a stop block so I can cut off the end pieces of the supports for the roll down flaps on the hoop house. And there we have them. It'll make more sense when I cut the next pieces. That's the problem. So this is the plan. I'm going to screw that piece on there, and then I'm going to screw that piece on the side of the hoop house for the pipe to sit in. Figure that'll work. Let's see. I could use a sand ready to put together. And there you have them, 10. Should be strong enough, screwed, and I'll screw those onto the sides of the hoop house, and the plastic on the tube can rest on there. So today's job is to get the roller plastic sides fitted. So that's basically it. The idea in my head works. Those clips will hold it in place. I might have to make some latching catches. We'll worry about that later. But the principle seems to work. Okay, so we're getting ready to staple the first roll-up side on. We're using clamps just to hold the plastic pretty much in place. I'll stretch it a little bit tight with my hand before I staple. Got to get this side done, then repeat on the other. And these are the hooks that I was trying to show you I was making in the shed. Hoop house sides, roll up sides, done. Tomorrow we cover it. I can't see if I'm in the shot or not, I hope so. Okay, we're just going to cut this 6 meter wide piece of plastic in half. So I've got the two end pieces for the hoop house. Those will go on next, and then the sheet that we've already cut that's just 9 meters will be the covering for the top. So now we're trying to figure out the best way of getting the plastic stretched so that we can staple it in place. I made a few mistakes. I started stapling before having stretched properly, so it became a bit of a mess. So using the clamps certainly was a good idea that Mandy came up with. Okay, so the first side of plastic is up, just clamped in place. So I'm going to leave it in the sun a little bit. Maybe it'll soften and help us pull the creases out. Next step, staple it in place, stretch it tight, cut the hole for the door so we can get in and out, and then move on to the back side. Okay, it's now time to stretch the plastic on the end pieces. Okay, so that's one end covered in plastic. It's a bit of a nightmare because of the way it folds, doesn't lay 100% flat, so it distorts a little bit, so you've got to stretch and stretch and stretch. I think I'm just about there. And cut the excess off and then do the other side, other end. Okay, so both ends are covered in plastic. I was hoping to get the roof on today, but we'll run out of light before we get finished, so that's tomorrow's job. That's the front. And there we have the back. Quite a bit of faffing around trying to get it stretched. There we go.
Today's the day the plastic goes up. Wind is gusty. Okay.
Hold it for me. You've explained to the peeps what's going on.
No.
I thought you did.
Bring it more over.
Blown that thing out. The side patch. Side panel.
Okay.
Right. You're going to climb up.
Well, I'm gonna wait for you to get down.
No, climb up, then I can climb down. Yeah. So you can stand your iron, hold it like that.
Sit it.
I don't need you now. I think so. We need to just figure out. I think this is the middle over here somewhere.
No,
Hang on, we've got to be careful what we
this
put
is
it.
it here. Right?
I think let it go.
Right, you need to get down. I'll stay up here to hold.
Okay, let's do the other side at the same time. Fuck it. Because I think, yeah, take this side over. Okay, that's the middle. Perfect.
Better go down and clip it. I'm holding.
Fuck.
Clip it.
I think we're okay.
Go this side. So my middle, hang on before you clip there. Okay, I've got mine first middle to in the middle.
Yeah, okay, it's going to have to come down this side.
Where?
Towards me. So, there's too much overhang this side, so pull it up to about there. Pull it tight over that. Got it? Plastic's on, just clipped on. We're going to need to start pulling it straight and stretching it and stapling it quickly because the wind's picking up. Okay, so we're now tensioning the plastic, working from the middle out, trying to make sure we get it as taut as possible. got to get a move on because it's quite windy today. Okay, so we have to try and get this plastic stretched as tight as we can. I don't stretch it too tight because it's warm now. Don't know what will happen when it contracts in the cold. So I've got to get the plastic stretched, stapled, and then cut the battens to screw on to hold them to make sure if it does contract, it doesn't rip the plastic through the staples. Where are you, woman? Anytime you're ready. You are funny, eh? So once we had the sides tensioned up, it was time to start stretching the plastic lengthwise and getting it as tight as possible. I can't tell you how many staples I went through, but I reckon it's thousands and still counting. But I've got an electric staple gun, but in the time it takes the electric one to shoot one staple, I can shoot 3 with a hand staple gun. Go figure. But we managed to get there. I think we got them all stapled in and nice and tight in time for putting the wooden battens on. Okay, plastic stapled on. Didn't work out too bad. There's a couple of places it's not perfect, but hey, it's good enough. A couple of places where it's not tensioned, you see over here, but I'm hoping with the expansion and contraction as it heats up and cools down it might pull itself straight. All in all, I'm quite happy. When we first started putting the plastic on, as you saw, it was quite gusty, but we managed to do it without any hiccups. Doesn't look too bad. So it's the next morning. All seems to have survived without any problems. Really, really happy with the way that turned out. Now we just have to hope it lasts. All looking good. None of the staples seem to have pulled overnight, so that's encouraging. I've got to get the wooden battens bent. Steamed and bent, that's for another video. I wonder how hot it's going to be. Now it's warm. It's warm. Let's get all steamed up. Well, it seems to have survived. Camera's going to freak out because it's too hot. I think it turned out great. All stretched up. We have a hoop house covered in plastic finally. Just getting ready to pull the plastic tight. We have cut the door opening, stretch it and staple it. Then the door's got to get mounted. And we now have a doorway. Next, fit the door, which is over there. Hello. Welcome to my hoop house. That's it for this week. Sadly, I couldn't get it completed in time for the video having to be edited and uploaded, so there will be a part 5. We hit a major milestone this week, 200 subscribers and over 1,000 hours watched. So thanks to everybody who's been watching, liking and subscribing. It's blown us away completely, and it makes all the time and effort spent on editing these videos really worthwhile. So thanks very much. Stay safe, and we hope to see you next week.